Welcome back to Planet Zoo. We're on episode 8 of Smallish Zoo, our franchise series right here. Firstly, the winner of the competition last week was Maya. Congratulations. I replied to your comment last week. Please reply to me. Today we got a lot of fun installed, so let's just get straight into it, shall we? Now, as Flamingos were the most voted, we're going to start with them. However, it's kind of weird. You can have 500 of them. That's a lot of flamingos. But they don't require much space. So what we're going to do is we're going to have them over here somewhere, I think. In a big sort of like lake over here. I think that'd look quite cool. And we're going to have a lot of them. Let's get to work. Now, flamingos are the first animal where we can actually get people to walk inside the enclosure. They're not a dangerous animal or anything, so people can walk inside the enclosure. So we've got these guest gates here, and we actually decided to make a massive enclosure. And we used both halves of the path because we had a little bit of dead space here, which I didn't know what to do with. So I thought it'd be perfect for a little part of our flamingo enclosure, which is massive. Like, honestly, it may be a little bit too big. But hey, I like to think big, and if it says you can have 500 flamingos, I'm gonna aim for 500 flamingos. One of the problems, though, is that you're not allowed a lot of, like, plant coverage, so I really kind of struggled when I came to decorating it. I had to use, like, a lot of random stuff. I also added in this massive lake here with a little mound in the middle as well, and I sort of did the paths going round the lake, but not fully round the lake. We'll just see how it works out when people start walking through it. I hope everyone uses every single gate and has a look round and stuff. Although knowing my luck with the Pygmy Hippos in the last episode where we made that underwater section and no one has used it since, my hopes are not very high. And I think we bought about 8 flamingos to begin with. You can sort of see me sorting that out here, buying some staff and stuff like that to look after the enclosure. And we got the flamingos in, just checked that everything was right, and then we had to start doing all the terrain and stuff to make it suitable for these guys. And it turns out they need hard shelter, which I hate building hard shelter most of the time, but I came up with like a solution you'll see a bit later on for this, which works for now, but might not work in the future, because obviously the more flamingos you add, the more hard shelter you need. However, because these guys live in Asia, Europe, and Africa, and have so many climates, it was really cool to decorate with loads of different sort of stuff. It was just kind of annoying that I couldn't use everything I wanted to. And by the way, what you see now, that's not hard shelter for the flamingos, that's just like a little viewing platform I put in for people to stand in. I thought it looked quite cute. So much so that I actually copied and pasted it and put it in a little bit down the line as well. And here's what I came up with the hard shelter. I basically just used some logs with a roof on it, and I just planted these around, sort of like made it look like people can use it to shade from the sun, but it's actually working as hard shelter for the flamingos as well, which is nice. And then we had to add some screens in and stuff like that. So obviously I made some custom design for this, and I just sort of like wanted to make it not too complicated, but I made it quite fun and interesting anyway. And I used the same one, and I just copied and pasted it all the way around the entire place. I think this enclosure is actually probably like bigger than the African enclosure that we've got over the other side, you know, the one with all the animals. It's pretty mad because there's only one animal in here. However, there are going to be 500 of them. I'm determined to get close to that number, and we're going to go buy some in a second and see how many we can get. But the problem was I was running out of credits, and I didn't want to spend all my credits on flamingos because they're flamingos, and I was just trying to buy it with money instead. But in the end, I think I did enough detailing and like decoration around this enclosure that it looked okay. I'm pretty happy with it, and we're going to go have a little look in more detail around it now. Total build time for this enclosure was probably about 2 hours in total, I'd reckon. And that's only because it was so big. It's nothing super special, to be honest. So at the moment, we've got 5 in here, but I think we've got some more on the way. We just got a notification about high amounts of litter, and it's been a while since we've hired a caretaker. We've actually only got 5. We've actually only got 4, so let's get another. We'll call them Markiplier. Hopefully they'll be able to help. Here comes some more flamingos, but we still need more, and I don't really care about genes on these things. I'm just buying all the cheapest ones. Wish there was a way to select all animals. Once again, we have too many snails. Love these things. At least we can sell them for a healthy profit. So the hard shell is starting to not be enough, so I'm adding in some of these things now. I made this over here for this enclosure, but they sort of fit, so I'm going to just stick a few around. Adds a bit of shade and hard shelter to hopefully please the flamingos. It looks like it does. And somehow a wildebeest is here. Sick. Love that. We've had another caretaker, Jenna Marbles, to work on this area, because this is the area that seems to be causing the problem. Wow, our money is going down quite a lot. We lost 53,000 last year somehow. It's not the flamingos because they're quite cheap to feed. Could be the lions, they're quite expensive. All right, I've added some beetles to this little thing over here. Try and get some people over to this side of the zoo as we're going to start working on this section soon. We're just losing so much money right now. I don't know what to do. Don't know how adding flamingos has made me lose so much money. They don't cost anything. Why am I losing so much money? This is a massive disaster. I don't know what's going on. I think we're going to have to sell some of our lions as there's just too many. Food for this enclosure is costing 50,000. It's because we've got 17 lions in here. And when these babies grow up, we'll release them. We're also going to store all our gorillas away for now in hopes that we can save some money on them. We need to get this under control soon. Holy moly. We somehow have 31 Goliath beetles. So the reason I added these in is because apparently these are really good for just selling and making money because they breed like crazy. It takes no time and then you can just sell them. And look, 10,000 that quickly. All right, and some of our lions are maturing now, which has brought our food costs down significantly, but we still need to get rid of some of these. A lot of flamingos just died because of starvation. Lots of animals are dying. This is stressful. Zebras just died. Dull sheep's dying. Flamingos aren't starving anymore, which is good. You can see lions fighting there, which means I can release one. I just don't understand when animals escape sometimes. Like, how did this get out? There's no explanation. It just did. I've also decided we're getting rid of this factory. We don't need it anymore. It's just making us lose money, if anything. We're down to 2 African lions now, which means our money should hopefully be going up, and it looks like it is. I think it's about time we carried on with the tracks of this train. So I've made a few changes since I last talked to you. We've now got to these free paths coming into the park instead because I noticed there's some massive crowds around here. Litter was building up, so I decided it was best to like sort of make it easier for everyone to get into the park like this. It's like a slight alteration here of the toilets, but it's worked. We've also added our queues on our train here. We've got an exit as well. And I sort of just like linked it up over here. This isn't going to be the final design. We're going to have much more stations, but it just comes all the way around here like so. And we've actually got a little bridge bit here as well. I was thinking of having this go through an enclosure over here. And then we've also got another station just right opposite the cheetahs. We've got this sort of like weird queue here. The train will come round, pick people up, take them towards here so they can leave the park easier. I then added in all these rocks here as well with this sort of like cool tunnel for the train to go through, just to sort of separate off the bit where Africa starts. The people coming to our zoo has gone down quite a lot. We were on like 4,000, but now we're down to like 2,800. People on the steam train right now, but I've realized I have to go all this way around just to get to here. It's kind of awkward. It's just gonna lose money, so maybe we should just like close it for now. It was a nice idea. So I think we're gonna add in some tortoises over here. I have a slight idea of what I want to do, so let's just get building. Now, when I first started playing Planet Zoo, tortoises was the first animal I went to. I don't know why I decided tortoises were the one for me, but I did. So I've used these guys quite a few times now, as I always just started off with them in zoos in the past. Mainly because they're so easy to look after and they're like really low maintenance. So I know quite a lot about these guys and if they need hard shelter and if they need land and water and whatnot. So I had a pretty good idea when coming into this. And I did know they need a lot of hard shelter. So I kind of really wanted to make sort of a custom cool hard shelter for this using the railway tracks, as you can see here. I sort of made this sort of rocky area which looks pretty cool at the end. It looks a bit weird right now, but trust me, it starts to look pretty cool. There's a bit of wood in there as well to sort of split it up, give some light into there and stuff like that. As now we have the train track going through, I kind of wanted to plan things around the train track rather than putting the train track in afterwards. I think that'd be a cool idea to sort of like implement it, make it look more natural, as if it's actually part of the zoo in real life. I'm also a big fan of making custom stuff, so here you can see me making a sort of like custom roof for part of the hard shelter, which I think looks pretty good in the end. I sort of make it 2-tiered and I'm pretty happy with it. I think that looks quite nice. And I know tortoises don't have a lot of appeal, but I'm still hoping people come over to this section of the zoo to have a look at them. There's loads of platforms for viewing these guys, and you can get some really good views. Some you don't even need to look through glass. As you can see, I'm building that sort of ledge there so the tortoises can't escape, because obviously they're tortoises, they're not going to climb out. We've also got a glass area in the cave where they can look in at them, although obviously no one's going to use that because I spent the longest building that part, so naturally no one's going to look at it. But here you can see me hiring some new staff as we're adding these tortoises in. Plus, I'm added in all like the sort of habitat bits and the plants and stuff, making it look nice and natural. And I think this is a pretty good enclosure. I'm excited to show you guys the full thing. And I'm really liking how much this zoo is expanding. Like, if I look back on it, there's so much stuff that I've done in this one zoo. It's crazy. So here are our tortoises enjoying life. They've actually already had babies. As you can see here, we've got like a lot of babies. They're very fertile apparently. And people are enjoying looking at them, which is good. People are actually using the stuff up here now, which is nice. Looking at the Goliath beetles. No one's really having any of the food yet, but that's because it's not open. I've also actually been pretty busy, as you can see from over here. I decided it's time we made the staff area look a little bit nice. We've got like an Arctic building here, but once you go through here, it turns to the African section. So we've got all these African themed buildings. I made all of these myself, apart from this one here. I did this one in, I got a bit bored and was just like, yeah, that one will do. So I'm just trying to make the staff a little bit happier by making their staff area just nicer, as we're just trying to fill out the park now, so there's not just empty areas. There's still quite a bit over here, but the whole Africa area is just massive now, and I'm really excited to get started on this jungle section here, which we will be doing next episode. Guest needs are pretty good right now, although I do think we need to add in more food and drink soon. The area here is just mad busy. Like, look at it. Why is it so busy? But the entrance is a lot better now. It's not so crowded, and this area is just empty over here. I don't know why. Maybe it's because there's more animals in Africa. But we've got two massive new enclosures this episode. We've got the flamingos here, and we've got the tortoises as well. And this jungle section is really starting to fill out, and our flat section is looking real good as well. I'm excited to get some more animals in, which, speaking of, what do you want to see next? We're going to have some jungle animals over here. And I think that might be our last animal in the Africa section before we move on to another section of the park, because I want to kind of expand. We've got so much space still left to use, and I want to try something different. So maybe I'll throw in a funky animal in there as well. So there you have it, guys. That's going to be it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and comment and vote in that poll, and I shall see you another time. Goodbye.